Hi, friends. You are welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Edith, and this is Significant Woman. This is a platform for women, and we are here to help one another to unleash, to discover, and to also live according to our full potential so that we can fulfill our purposes in life. And so today, we are going to talk about the three very important questions that you need to ask yourself if you want to live according to your full potential, but also fulfill the purpose as to why you're here on earth. And I'm very sure that each one of us who is here, we want to live a satisfied, a full life. And that is what we are going to be discussing today. So the three questions that you need to ask yourself. Number one is you need to ask yourself, who am I? And the other question is, why am I here? And the third question is, where am I going? Who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? So who am I as an individual, as you? Who are you? As we've been talking about, each one of us is created uniquely, and there are about 8 billion people. But as Edith, I'm the only Edith that will ever be there with the qualities and how I am. So if you're going to fulfill your purpose in life, you need to know exactly who are you. God has given you a personality. A personality is a combination of characteristics and qualities that make you a distinctive person. We all have different personalities. I know many people talk about introverts and extroverts, but even if you're an extrovert, you cannot be an extrovert like the two of you or many people. You can't be the same extroverts or the same introverts. Even if we might share personalities, we are always different. So you need to know your personality. Are you an extrovert? Do you get energy from other people from without? Or you're a kind of person like myself who gets energized from within? And then you need to know your strengths. You need to know what are you good at. You need to know what are your talents, what are your giftings, and also what are you passionate about. And if you go back to maybe, when we grow up, our passions keep on changing because, being an adult comes with so many things. But when you go back to when you were a child, when life was, a little bit innocent for you, you didn't have a lot of things you had to think about, you weren't too responsible for so many things. There are those passions that you had of when they ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be this, I want to be this. And there were those things that were consistent with you while you were growing up. So those passions actually are so unique with yourself, and you might find that your purpose in life is actually lying there. And personally, I've told you, I'm an introvert. Many people don't actually believe that, but I'm a person who can stay alone, who wants my space. I love my space. But God has called me to interact with so many people. So I'm not going to go somewhere and I take the back seat and I'm going to be in my space. No. So what I'm trying to say is, when you know who you are, you do not stop there. When you discover your passions, when you discover your strengths and also your weaknesses, you do not stop there. I know that I love my space, but I know God has called me to be with people. So I have to be very conscious and intentional that when I'm in a group of people, I'm going to keep reminding myself that, hey, you need to interact with people, you need to talk with your neighbor, you need to, mingle around. And that is how I'm able to do my work. But when I go back home and relax, I'm going to close the door to everyone, not take any calls, so that I can re-energize myself, because that is how I'm wired. But also when we come to our strengths are good, but if you do not manage them, sometimes they can tend to become weaknesses. One of my strengths is I'm very quick. I love working with very quick people. And sometimes if I do not manage that, I'm going to end up neglecting some people and just working with those who match my energy, which is not nice, especially if you're a leader. So you have to be very, very self-aware. It is very important that you know yourself from within, and you're able to work with those unique characteristics and qualities that you have for you to be able to fulfill your purpose in life. And the other thing is that is my weakness is that I don't love change. It is so funny when I just love doing things the way I'm used to them. But in this world, we are living in change. The world is changing. Every day there is something unique, something new that is coming, and the world is not going to wait for you to catch up. So I cannot rely on myself and say I'm not going to change. That is how I'm wired. That is who I am, because I'm going to be still in life. So I have to still consciously tell myself, when that sometimes wants to come out, I have to tell myself, hey, Edith, change is a constant in life, so you better also catch up and join people in what they are doing. It might be difficult, but I have to make those constant reminders to myself and make those intentional decisions. Whatever you find out about yourself, don't stop at that. That is what most of us do. You find out you're an introvert, you find out you're an extrovert, and then you stop there. No, when you find out who you are, be intentional about it, do something about it so that you can use it to your advantage. And then the other thing I want to tell you is that there is, like I've said, we are all unique, yeah? So there is no personality, there is no gifting, there is no strength that is better than the other. Because remember, we are all created for different missions in life. So there is no way we can say that your gift is better than mine. Extroverts, we always hear that extroverts are better than introverts, and that is not that's not the truth. Each one of us, God has given us everything that we need to fulfill that mission that He gave us in our lives. And I want you to embrace yourself for who you are. Love yourself for who you are, for that person that God created you to be. It is okay to be different. We have to embrace our differences. It is okay to celebrate your sister for who they are, the gifts that they have, but as long as you don't lose yourself, and as long as you do not try to mimic or become your neighbor or your friend, and do not appreciate the person that you are. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to neglect yourself. Like we have talked about, you're going to neglect yourself. You will not develop yourself, your personality, and then that means that you're going to live life in fakeness. You're going to live it when you're not authentic. So it is good, find out yourself, find out who you are, everything that makes you unique, and no one is going to tell you those. Yes, we might tell you, but if I tell you something about yourself, it should be to confirm maybe something that you know. And if you don't know you don't know that thing about yourself, maybe you need to talk to a friend, other people, and compare. But what I know is that God has given us a conscience. For us who are Christians, you have the Spirit. It is from within that you're going to know who you are. So the other second question that you need to answer is, why are you here? Why are you on earth? I don't know if you've ever paused to ask yourself that question. Like, okay, there are many people on earth. Let's say maybe my country, Uganda. There are so many people. But why is it that God took His time to create you? And He has allowed you to live up to this time. Many people, each day, every second, people are dying. And you have been in situations, maybe for some of you, where you're like in an accident and everyone dies and you're the only one who has survived. Have you ever paused to ask yourself, why was I created? Why did God take His time, and why is He then still sustaining me on earth? So it is very important that you have an answer to that question. Okay, with time it might keep on changing, but what I know is that there will be that core that will changeless, and wherever you go, whatever you do, it will always remain. But one thing that we need to know is that your mission in life is not invented, but you detect it. God has created us in a way that we have an internal monitor that tells you who you are, that somehow makes you aware of the uniqueness and those unique contributions that you need to make in life. And for those who are Christians, those who are walking with God, they have the Holy Spirit who helps them to know exactly who they are, exactly why they are here, exactly their purpose in life. Today morning when I was doing my devotion, I read a scripture that says, when David had finished his purpose on earth, he passed on, he died. And I'm like, all these people that we see in the Bible, most of them that God used, they had a purpose, and He revealed it to them by the Spirit. You can imagine, like for David, he was just 17 years, and God anointed him as a king in front of his family. It took him time to become a king, maybe 13 years, when he had gone through a lot of difficulties. At some point, he even had to pretend that he was a madman to survive his enemies. But at the end, when he was around 30, he became the king. But that was his purpose in life. So each one of us has a mission in life that God has given to us. Your life can never be repeated, my friend. You're too unique in that no one can try to duplicate you. That is how unique, that is how special you are. That is how God loves you. And he gave you qualities that cannot be duplicated by anyone or imitated by any other person. Like me, my life, no one else is going to ever live it. Even if you look like your twin, we've seen twins that are identical, but they are completely different. That is how much we are very unique, and we have those unique qualities that are going to help us to fulfill that mission in life. So as you seek to find that mission in life, I want to tell you, my dear sister, that it is not going to be found anywhere, not in books, not anywhere, but it's going to come from within. It's going to come from you. So you can't actually ask me, Edith, please help me, tell me what my purpose in life. No, it is actually you whom we are supposed to be asking. What is your purpose in life? You're the one who is supposed to come and tell us that this is my purpose in life. I hope that makes sense to you, because when you stop looking for purposes and missions in life from outside and know that it is supposed to come from within, it is deep inside you, and you actually trust God and wait on Him to reveal it to you, then it makes sense, because you're going to be the one to set the script that you're going to follow in your own life. So that is why it's very important that you become self-aware. Because unless you know who you are, unless you take time to dig deep and know that person that God created you to be, then it is going to be difficult for you to fulfill any mission or your mission in life. I have a friend who tells me that he knew he wanted to be a filmmaker when he was a child, 7, I think he was in primary 7. He knew he wanted to be a filmmaker, and that has never changed up to now. He is very sure that that is what God created him to be, and he is thriving in life because he's walking in the right direction with the right map of his life. And I'm very certain that he's going to die a satisfied man. You know, they always say that like the graveyard, it is the most rich place on earth, in the world, not anywhere else. Why? Many people die without fulfilling the mission that they were created for. So I'm going to encourage you that you try to find out why God took time to create you. And when you figure it out, I'm very sure that when you go to Him, you're going to figure it out. Then start living it out, that everything that you're going to be doing is going to be towards fulfilling that mission in life. And then the last thing that we need to think about or ask ourselves is, where are you going? You might be a 20-year-old. Have you ever tried to visualize your life in 10 years, how you're going to be? Or you just live through life one day at a time? It comes, it goes, you sleep, you wake up. You've never tried to figure out what you want to be 10 years, 5 years from now. So it's very important as an individual, just like any country has a constitution. You need to have a constitution for your life. You need to have a vision. You need to have, actually, I will encourage you, you get a pen, you get a paper, and come up with your personal mission statement so that it can direct you. You need to come up with your own constitution. We live in a changing world, like I've said, but your statement, your mission statement, is the thing that is going to help you to live through this changing world. So a mission statement is, as like you hear, it's a statement, but it really focuses on the person that you want to be and the things you want to do, the contributions and achievements that you need to have in life. But remember, we've talked about, you figured out who you are, you figured out why you're on earth, and then it will be easier for you to come up with a mission statement. And you need to write these things down. And remember, like I've said, we are all unique. So these are going to be unique to you. Even if you have a sister or a spouse or your mother, you cannot go to them and you say, let's write my personal mission statement. These things are really unique to you. So find out, now I know who I am as Edith right now. But what do I want to become? Who do I want to become? Have you ever actually thought? I remember about 5 years ago, I was introduced to a tombstone. We were told, we're in class, we're doing a leadership program, we were told to visualize, think about your maybe 100 years when you have died. On the tombstone, what do you want to be written there when you have died? Or just imagine on your funeral, what do you want people to say? What do you want if you're married, what do you want your spouse to say about you? What do you want your children to say about you? What do you want your colleague, your siblings to say about you on your funeral? And when you've passed on 10 years, and someone comes to a cemetery and they look at your tombstone, what do you want them to see the kind of person that you were? When you think about those things and you visualize the future, it becomes easy for you to come up with your mission statement, because those are the things that are going to direct you in life. All the decisions that you're going to make, whether long-term or short-term, they are going to be directed by those truths that you want to define the person that you are. So just sit down and write your past. That's going to be like your personal constitution. It's going to be like your creed that you follow in life. And whether things change, those things are going to remain true. That it will be easy for you to have this job offer and you say, wait a minute, if I want to be remembered to be a loving mother who raised my children and had enough time with them. If this job is like you're going to be working up to Sunday, you're going to be working from 9 up to 7 p.m. in the evening, you realize that this is not in line with my personal mission in life. So you realize that when you have that sorted out, then you are going to be also directed in the path that you're taking in life. So my sisters, take these things very seriously. Don't rush through them. Figure out who you are. Figure out why you're on earth, and figure out where you're going. What is the future that you want to have? And trust me, when you do those things and find them figured out, but don't rush it. This might take long. This might take some good days or some months. But if you give it time, and for some they might keep on changing, like your mission statement might keep on changing. But as long as you have them at heart and give yourself that time, you're going to see a great impact in your life. You will see your life change. You will feel peace with yourself. You will not just wake up to live through the day. Even if you're going to work, you will know that, well, there is something directing me. There is a reason as to why I'm here. You're going to start talking with people differently, because you know that you want to be a compassionate person. You want to love your neighbor. So you will start figuring out things differently. You will start looking at the world with a different pair of lenses. So I hope these things are going to help you. And remember, we are here to become significant women. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. If there is something that you would want us to talk about and you're dying to hear or be helped in, please just write it in the comment section and I'll be glad to have all those things answered. Thank you so much for listening to me. God bless you, and see you in my next video.